Welcome to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, where we pride ourselves on having one of the best public education systems in the country. This is a place where we hold a truth to be self-evident, that all children, regardless of ethnicity or religion, income or zip code, are endowed by this Commonwealth with a certain unalienable right to an equitable foundational education. But what if I told you this foundation of equity has become meaningless? What if I told you that while all communities here in the Commonwealth are held to the same high academic performance standards, not all communities are able to provide equal tools to achieve these goals? This inequity is oftentimes based on zip code alone. What if I introduced you to two educators, two sisters, both teaching children in public schools, but in different zip codes, and because of these zip codes, work in vastly different realities? Let me tell you a tale of two sisters. Laura Phillips is an art teacher at Marshall Simons Middle School in Burlington.
Right, so he's going to be around this. That shirt will be shaved.
I've been super lucky. Everything I need is provided by my school system. The district basically provides everything from pencils to notebooks to art materials. It affects my teaching because I'm not worried about the kids not having anything. I'm not worried about the kids that can't afford it. The kids that can afford it, they might bring in extra things, but everyone is equal.
Laura's boss is Dr. Eric Conti, Superintendent of the Burlington Public Schools. Burlington has a $60 million budget, 3,500 students, and spends $17,200 per year per student.
Teaching is a very complex job, and I think you get better over time. There's a cost to turnover, and I've been happy that we've been able to maintain our staffing levels and keep people in the job, get them trained up, so we can provide the highest performing professionals to work with our children across the community. We have a very active business community that's very supportive of the schools. Our Chamber of Commerce couldn't be more supportive. We have an education foundation that provides fundraisers every year and provides opportunity for innovation.
But this is a story of two teachers, not one. Remember, not all teachers are as fortunate as Laura. One such teacher is Laura's sister, Karen Cavanaugh.
One of the mottos that we've had in Brockton the last couple of years is that we do more with less. And every year we're asked to do more with less. For classroom supplies every year, I buy my class all my own notebooks with my own money because I know some of my students can't afford them. And I'm not reimbursed. My kids are at a disadvantage because we don't have all those resources. Because of budget cuts, I've changed grades so many times. So forming a collegial base in a strong cooperative learning environment, the person that you worked with last year might not be the person you work with next year. So from my standpoint as a teacher, I am not looking for more than what anybody else gets. I'm looking for the same. So if I'm held to the same standards, I should have the same materials, supplies, support.
Karen's boss is Dr. Kathleen Smith, Superintendent of the Brockton Public Schools. Brockton has a $260 million budget and nearly 18,000 students. Brockton spends just $14,000 per year per student.
80 teachers were laid off because of budget cuts. Little by little, we have watched a reduction in Chapter 70 funding throughout the state. Funding that was supposed to provide an adequate education for every child, no matter the zip code, has now been reduced when we're spending, and this is not just Brockton, additional funding for special education mandates, which our children need. Additional funding for health insurance that we have to provide to all our employees. Inflation rates that are out of control. Spending for professional development with the mandates that our teachers face and making sure that we are leading the nation, we are number one, we provide a rigorous curriculum. All of that, while funds in Brockton over the past 5 years, we have been cutting. For some districts, they are able to go above and beyond once they meet foundation. If they want to bring one-to-one devices throughout the district, they're able to put an extra $1 million, an extra $2 million, et cetera, into their budget to be able to support those initiatives with the new high-stakes testing coming in. When you're talking about your urban districts and your gateway cities, we do not have that opportunity. What we now have is a district trying to keep their head above water.
The disparities between these two school systems are not an anomaly. The lack of equitable support for students stems from an outdated educational funding formula that was adopted in 1993. Laura and Karen recently sat down to discuss the differences in their schools.
Kids are making decision in middle school now, do I go to a tech school or do I go to the public school or private school? And it's important that the school provide everybody with equal opportunities.
And we don't even have materials to do great things.
Right. So it's unfair. It's like every student should have the same. They should all be able to have the specials that make a well-rounded, student.
Same experiences. If it's a public school and it's the same state, we all should have the same. It's not fair to the kids in my school. We have great kids here, and they're not given all the opportunities that would present themselves for them to make a good choice of what to do for a career, to prepare for a job, just to be prepared even for college.
Yeah. Every day coming to school knowing that this is a great place to be and that...
You're not worrying your job's going to be eliminated at the end of the year.
Right. For the first time, I have a new colleague, and it's because someone retired.
And I've had complete new teams for the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Think about that for a moment. You wouldn't use Windows 3.1 on an Apple IIe computer today. Yet Massachusetts continues to fund public education on a formula created in 1993. And let's not forget today's health insurance costs that exceed that 1993 formula's projections by 140%. And while some communities, like Burlington, have been fortunate enough to supplement their budgets with local funding, many, like Brockton, have not. This has created significant inequity in both the education and opportunity for all students. It is something that Dr. Conti and the entire membership of the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents strongly believes needs to be fixed now.
Massachusetts is in the place that it's in nationally because of the work that was done 25 years ago, and that brought together lawmakers, educators, the business community to make significant changes in the school funding formula, standards, assessment, and governance. Public schools were really reshaped, and we're reaping the benefits of that. We have to have another effort like that for the next 25 years. Reshaping the funding formula for schools is the foundation of that work. If anything, what we've learned over the last 25 years is investing in children in the Commonwealth pays off every time. Please, let's make sure that we provide all students across the Commonwealth, all communities across the Commonwealth, a realistic foundation for them to provide a high-quality education that continues to keep Massachusetts families and children and our economy performing at the level that it's been performing.